Alright YouTube, so it has been over 2.5 years since I made the origin of the Walking Dead virus video. By far the biggest video on my channel. At the time of making that video, we were coming up on the second half of Season 8 of the main Walking Dead show. We were coming up on Season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, and we had 176 issues of the comic. Fast forward to present day, the comics came to a surprise ending in 2019 with the 193rd issue. Fear the Walking Dead is going into its 6th season, and the main show is on the 10th season. The finale was delayed because of COVID, but that's going to air on October 4th, and they're also going to add some additional episodes, like in the spring or so of 2021, but then also Season 11 is going to be the final season, but it's going to be a massive season with like 20-something episodes. But even beyond all of that, we've had the announcement of multiple spin-off projects for the franchise. With the departure of Andrew Lincoln in Season 9, there was, at the time, supposed to be 3 Rick movies, but I believe now it's just supposed to be 1. More recently, it was revealed that there was going to be a Daryl and Carol spinoff, which I think is kind of crazy. Not that anybody thought that those characters were in danger, but it pretty much confirms that they're not going to die by the end of the main show. We're also going to have Tales of the Walking Dead, which will be an anthology series where each episode focuses on different characters. We won't be following the same characters every episode, and it could have new and old characters, so we could see the return of characters that have since died. And then we have World Beyond, which is the main focus of this video. This was a show that wasn't really on my radar once we got the first reveal for it. It felt very much like a CW or MTV zombie show. Didn't really feel like Walking Dead.
Our dad's in trouble.
We have to help him. To die, we could live.
So I wasn't sure how I was feeling about a teenage romp through the zombie apocalypse. These kids are supposed to go after their dad in New York. They're traveling from Nebraska, presumably on foot. So I had mixed feelings at best when it came to World Beyond, up until a very recent trailer that had a very specific line in it that definitely caught my interest.
Our dad is sharing his knowledge so that there is a cure.
I screamed at him not to go.
That's right, the dad that they're going after in World Beyond is trying to find a cure for whatever caused the zombie outbreak in the Walking Dead universe. Now, the prospect of finding a cure for whatever caused all this in the Walking Dead universe is something I said in the past with that previous video that did not really interest me. My thoughts on that have definitely changed. With the character of Rick Grimes leaving the main TV show and the main TV show itself coming to an actual ending finally, there is a major part of me that wants a happy ending for these characters, or what characters are left. And realistically, the only way you can get a happy ending in a zombie apocalypse is a cure for what causes zombies. Otherwise, the human population will eventually be wiped out. You cannot possibly produce humans at a faster rate than which they're going to die by zombies or other means. And anytime somebody dies, they're going to become a zombie, thus adding to the overall zombies and killing more people. And when we're talking about a cure in the Walking Dead universe, we're just talking about something that would prevent future people from dying and turning into a walker. We're not talking about injecting a rotting corpse with some kind of liquid and they turn back into a regular human. And the other reason why the idea of a cure does interest me is, bringing it back to that video I made over 2.5 years ago, is for them to find a cure, there's a good chance we might finally get that origin story. And for them to find a cure, they're going to have to figure out whatever it is, whether it's a virus, a bacteria, a microbe, a fungus, whatever, right? All the things that Edwin Jenner said in Season 1. It's something I talked about with that previous video. You have this major revelation in Season 2 of the TV show, as also in the comics, that every single person has whatever it is.
At the CDC, Jenner told me, whatever it is, we all carry it.
For the sake of this video, we're just going to refer to this as a virus, regardless of whatever it is. But there's an interesting bit of information we get on the wildfire virus in Season 1, Episode 5, Wildfire.
Jenner here. It's day 194 since wildfire was declared, and 63 days since the disease abruptly went global.
Those are a crucial couple of sentences that I've somehow missed over the course of watching this show for the last decade. The initial outbreak was 194 days before that episode, and about 130 days after the initial outbreak, the virus, the pandemic, went global. So it spread. I always thought that it was instantaneous. It's something I missed with that initial video and talking about the origin of the virus, but to be fair, that video was not very well researched. It was a video that I thought up, recorded, and uploaded in the exact same day. If I knew the video was going to blow up like it did, pushing towards 900,000 views, it would have been a hell of a lot more thought out. So it taken about 4 months after the initial outbreak to go global gives us a better idea of what it is. It works something like a sickness, a flu, a virus. It took a while to spread around the world. So this actually grounds it a little more in reality, as much as a zombie outbreak can be realistic. But again, I always took it as that magically everybody had it one day. But that's actually not the case. It took a while to spread. Which means that it is something along the lines of a virus, a bacteria, a microbe, or whatever. Which means that theoretically there could be a cure. So when it comes to World Beyond, I'm hoping that they can answer the question I've had for about a decade now. How did this all start? Now, at the beginning of this year, somebody tweeted at Robert Kirkman asking, what caused the zombies, to which he replied, space spore, and everybody ran with this. The sheer amount of space spore comments I received earlier this year on just my video alone was pretty insane, that I eventually just stopped replying to them. This comment, however, I thought was funny looking back at it for this video, because this person says, if you're a true fan, you would know it's a space spore, but I made that video like 2 years before Robert Kirkman ever tweeted out those 2 words, so unless I could time travel, how could I have ever known? But the point of all of this is that if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, you know that Kirkman is pretty much never serious. It's something I mentioned in my initial video. It's something I was replying to the space spore comments, and of course, a couple of months later, in April of 2020, he clarified. He quote tweeted an article about the space spore and said, first, the mentioned tweet is months old and it's been deleted. Second, it was a joke. I would never reveal something like this in a tweet. Which is something I've been trying to tell people for months at this point. So if you're somebody that still believes it is a space spore, it's not. Now, we haven't talked much about World Beyond in this video, but there's a lot to catch up on over the past couple of years. The show is going to be a limited run series, 2 seasons, 10 episodes per season. The show picks up 10 years into the apocalypse, which lines up perfectly with the timeline of the main show. We're about 10 years in. It's going to heavily feature the CRM, the Civic Republic military, the people we've seen teased a lot throughout the main show, and Fear the Walking Dead with the 3 circles, the helicopter, the people that took Rick. Well, I don't know if Andrew Lincoln or Rick Grimes is actually going to be a part of this show. We're supposed to figure out what actually happened to him. After the CRM took him away and the characters on the main show thought that Rick Grimes died, there was like a 6-year time skip, so we're supposed to figure out what's been going on for those 6 years. We know that the character of Rick Grimes is alive, but he's not the type of person that would leave his family behind, so what's prevented him from returning to Michonne and Judith for all these years? Something that automatically stuck out to me from the show that may or may not be important is that the setting, or at least the initial community, is in Nebraska, which when it comes to the main show is kind of important to Rick. Season 2, Episode 8 is titled Nebraska. This is the episode where Rick, Glenn, and Herschel come across Dave and Tony, who mention possibly going to Nebraska because it's a low population state and there's a lot of guns.
Kansas, Nebraska.
Nebraska. Low population, lots of guns.
Kinda makes sense. You ever been to Nebraska, kid? The reason they call them flyover states.
But this episode as a whole is very crucial to the character of Rick Grimes. This is the first time in the show that he actually kills people. This is when he learns how dangerous people can be in this world. This is really the first episode where he switches from officer friendly to the Rick Grimes that we now know. Now, whether or not the setting of Nebraska will have any bearing on the story or the character of Rick Grimes remains to be seen, but it's something I definitely took note of. Now, the teaser they put out for the Rick movie, the skyline is in Philadelphia, so it's implied that's where Rick's going to be at, but he's been gone for a lot of years, and the CRM has helicopters, so at some point he could have gone to Nebraska. So with World Beyond having ties to the character of Rick Grimes and whatever happened to him, with characters in the show looking for a cure for whatever all this is, and a cure brings about a possible origin story, it's definitely a show I'm going to keep my eyes on. The Walking Dead World Beyond will debut on October 4th, the same day as the Season 10 finale of the main show. Man, this is a video I've been working on for quite a while now, researching and looking shit up and gathering clips and images and all that other shit, and we kept getting closer and closer to when the show's going to air, and it's like, man, I got to get this video out and done before the show actually comes out. So if and or when World Beyond gives us a cure for whatever caused the zombie outbreak in the Walking Dead universe, or a possible origin story for it, we'll do some sort of follow-up video. Either way, my dudes, that is the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and want to stay up to date with the very occasional Walking Dead video. Turn on my notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @dashingdavid. I'm my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Low Gain or leave it like Cobain.